AskReddit by Loki Hatim. What is the worst thing you have found on someone else's phone? I am a librarian. People always want help printing things from their phone. I can't tell you how many times people have handed me their phone only to have their web browser be open to full-on porn. I found a phone and looked through the photos and found a picture of the guy holding his dick, but it was next to one of those tiny cans of Coke you get on planes. I have no idea why, but I assume he was trying to trick someone into thinking his dick was a regular Coke can size. Pain Mayo. Had a client showing me a picture of a haircut they wanted. I was hovering behind him as he was flipping through pictures, and the next one to the haircut ended up being what I assume was him, but his asshole wide open and googly eyes on his cheeks, bent over like the autocock meme. This was the day I learned never look at the phone until the customer has their picture up and ready. How do you know it was him and not just some meme he saved? CP. For a guy that was a coach of a girls' soccer team and had camps. Not sure if he went to jail or not, but he was reported as he was a federal employee. That my best friend's recently deceased husband had been cheating on her with men their entire relationship. She was standing over my shoulder reading as we made the discovery together. Oh, what a horrible discovery for her. Photos of my own diary. My ex-boyfriend had taken pictures of every entry from when I was a kid and sent them all to my parents. What? That is fucking bizarre. How did your parents react? I feel like if someone did this to me, my parents would be like, why the fuck are you sending me this? I was 15. Found messages on my mother's phone about her failed suicide attempts and how she never wanted her kids to know about them. Didn't speak a word about what I saw. Internalized the fear. She successfully took her life less than a year later. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Multiple messages on various chat apps on ex's phone. Not just messages to other women, but also chatting with teenage girls in explicit and derogatory ways. Also, trying to meet up with a 16-year-old. When confronted, he said he was never going to act on any of it. And it was my fault as the relationship was going downhill and he was sexually frustrated. Oh, and photos of me naked and passed out, very early in the relationship. My ex-wife's iTunes on her iPhone was actually my account that I set up for my iPad. She was just too lazy to set up a new account. So I told her if she did that her iMessages would come through to my iPad. She said she didn't care until she started cheating on me and I got the texts directly to my iPad. Don't leave us hanging. What happened next? My now ex-husband dressing in my lingerie to send to other men. That one was a bit of a shock. I found out my wife is dying after I read messages exchanged between her and her sister. I guess she was too afraid to tell me just yet. I waited till she wanted to tell me on her own before I told her that I had seen the messages and had already known. Damn. Hugs to you and your wife. Hope you're all doing okay. I found a plethora of nudes of my friends and several other boys and girls at our high school, including mine. My friends and I never sent him nudes, nor did we have any sexual romantic interest in this person. I assume the same for the others. Deleted. I used to work with a chick who took her husband's phone to work by mistake. While showing a bunch of people photos of her kids, she stumbled across an HR folder and clicked it. The folder was full of CP. I watched as the blood drained out of her face and she became visibly pale and then sick. She threw up. I've never seen someone's emotions skin color change up so quick. It scared the shit out of me. I remember hearing her scream and cry while talking to the cops. When her husband arrived with her phone, they slapped the cuffs on him and he confessed on the spot. One of my best friends from high school was just recently caught with CP on his machine and was having relations with the minor. His wife found out and immediately reported it. He has 4 small children and was a Marine. It was absolutely gut-wrenching hearing this, and there are absolutely no words. I'm paralyzed each time I go over the news in my head. My brain just can't register it. Deleted. Sounds like a successful debugging session. An app that allowed a married man to control a vibrator my GF was wearing while around me. Man, sorry, that's all I can say. Emails of my ex trying to meet women from Craigslist for sex. My sister found these 2 weeks before their wedding. She was sad of course, but surprisingly calm and collected. She looked at me a day or two later and said, I was about to make the biggest mistake of my life. My dad died about a year and a half ago in a car accident. I went through his phone after he passed and he had taken pictures of the bay near where he grew up the morning of his accident, and he had a half-written text message to me making plans to see me for Christmas. It's not like those things are shocking or awful in the way CP or whatever is, but it's shocking and awful in a way that it's a view into a life cut short. It was 2 days before Christmas and he was reminiscing about his childhood and planning with his children, and it all just ended in the blink of an eye. It guts me every time I think about it. Deleted. I had just finished having sex with my GF at the time. Literally, right after finishing she turns over and sends a text, then got up to go to the bathroom. The person responded with, so you finished up with him? When is he leaving? It was the dude she was cheating on me with. Looking at this optimistically. At least you went first. When I worked at a movie theater, a customer came up to scan his digital ticket. He accidentally swipes the image of the ticket into a really high-def pic of a vagina with presumably cum coming out of it. All he could say was, oh wow. How did that get there, haha. Porn? On my computer? Bless early 2000s pop-up ads. A picture of my sex toy up his butt sent to another girl. So much twists in so little words. I was helping a tech-challenged friend move everything from an old phone to a new one. His most recent photo was his hard dick against the bong we all shared when we smoked at his place. I no longer use his smoking devices. When I was a kid way back when, I often borrowed my mom's phone to play some games on it, and would occasionally snoop around. One time I checked her texts, and saw that she had gotten a bunch of death threats, from what I assume was a former employee in her company, since she worked in HR. I asked her about it some days later and she said not to worry, and that she called our relative, who was a police officer, to help deal with it. I honestly don't know how it was resolved, but my mom didn't seem fazed at all by it. All I remember was being really scared when I first saw those texts. I immediately put the phone away and went to sleep. Edit. Since y'all been asking for an update, I asked my mom about it. She said that it was an employee that she reprimanded because they did a bad job. Employee reacted poorly to that, threw a tantrum at work, and would later proceed to text those threats to her. It was never confirmed if it was the same person, but my mom knew, because of the way they looked at her during work. She might have sent our relative that was a police officer at her workplace, but she can't remember for sure. But it wasn't long until that employee resigned, and then it pretty much ended there. Sorry if it wasn't the dramatic finish that you were hoping for, Mayo, but there you go. From how she told the story, it really didn't seem like it bothered her. I think she was more annoyed that she couldn't just block the phone number, lol. Not me, but a bartender friend of mine found a phone unlocked on the bar and couldn't locate its owner, so he punched in his own phone number and found out he was already in the contacts as Creepy J. Did this once. Used a friend's phone to call mine so I could locate it. My number was saved under no talkie. Not a phone. But I used to work it for a mid-sized corporation. An executive handed me his computer once to fix some issue and had left open a spreadsheet with every employee's pay. A rough way to find out I was the lowest paid person in the company. But good motivation to move on. Had the head of HR send out the raise spreadsheet to the wrong email distro right after telling everyone no money for raises or bonuses. CEO got 250% bonus, my boss 100%, etc. I was gone a week later. Had people walk out right then as well. A friend once handed me a thumb drive to get a document. It had several full frontal nudes of him. He was, and is, a large built man. Think of a moderately tall Oompa Loompa. Fat hides a lot of your pecker, but there was still a bit of it sticking out. Oompa Loompa doompity doo. I've got an uncut pecker for you. My nudes that I did not send to them. OWTF. An old friend of mine called me frantically requesting I come to his house because he needed a witness. He feared his then wife was about to call cops and accuse him of domestic violence. I could hear her in the background screaming, "Jose, don't believe him." I don't live close, but I was concerned and drove over. They live in a cul-de-sac and I could hear the screaming before I got in the door. When I opened the door, he was at the top of the stairs trying to explain she is crazy. She was trying to explain that my friend is a pervert. So, of course my immediate thought was he must have been caught fucking around. Well, to my shock and disappointment, she managed to yank the phone from him and she immediately started scrolling to pictures. She had to show me to convince me that my buddy I have known for over a decade is a pervert. She showed a dick pic. I was like, gross but okay. He started. Wow. So how did your friend think you could be a witness for him, I wonder? Deleted. This is the worst one so far. I was excited to tell the story about how my date handed me his phone to show me a picture, and it was followed by about 10 dick pics of different dicks. He was a rugby player and apparently he left his phone on the bus. This is what his teammates did to his unattended phone. But after reading all these terrible stories, I am not sure this was the kind of story you were looking for. Edit. Thanks for all the awards and updates. I wasn't expecting this comment to blow up the way it did. Also, maybe he was gay, I don't know. He was a crazy guy, didn't give too many fucks about anything. All I know is that in rugby, hardly anything is ever gay. Actually, this was funny and not horrifying like the rest, so thanks. Never leave your phone around your home, eyes. Damn, I came here to hear stories of infidelity, but learned some people are fucking monsters. You saw the raisin potato salad too, huh?